up on Valley View News. A high-speed crash in Pomona left 3 people dead and 2 injured. What authorities have learned about the suspect. Plus, a 6-week ceasefire in Gaza has been accepted. How Vice President Kamala Harris played a key role in the agreement. And a new sports bar opened up in Minnesota, but dedicated to women sports lovers. We have the details. That's all coming up.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Matthew Bragulla.
And I'm Ignatian.
A man is dead after a stabbing at a popular restaurant in Long Beach, and now the search is on for a suspect. Long Beach police say it happened Sunday morning at Dave's Hot Chicken on the corner of 2nd Street and Covina Avenue. Eyewitnesses at the scene say the incident started as a verbal altercation that quickly spiraled into a violent fight. Investigators say the suspect stabbed the victim in his upper body before leaving the scene. The victim received aid from officers at the scene, but later died. Police don't have a clear description on the suspect or a possible motive. If you have any information, you are asked to call the Long Beach Police.
Dominic Choi has become the Los Angeles Police Department's first ever Asian American interim chief. Choi was sworn in over the weekend and is now the department's 58th chief. Mayor Karen Bass believes Choi will lead the department with stability while working together to keep Angelenos safe. Before being named intern chief, Choi held many positions during his 29-year-long career and was deputy chief in 2019 and later was promoted to assistant chief in 2021. He will be the first Korean American to lead a major police department in the U.S., a truly historical moment.
A few days after Choi was sworn in, the LAPD came out to the city of Compton to assist the fire department in a disaster drill. Valley View News' Quinn Alexander went down in the trenches to see firsthand how the local authorities prepare for a disaster.
In collaboration with over 130 emergency response teams, the Alameda Corridor Transit Authority held the annual disaster preparedness training on Sunday morning. The drills took place at the intersection of Alameda Street and Compton Boulevard and simulated disaster scenarios first responders may face when working so close to the expressway.
The firemen know how to fight fires. They know their business very well. They're not as familiar with working around railroad tracks, and in particular, when we get into the trench.
The trench is 10 miles long and sees around 12,000 shipping containers in a single day. So naturally, when a disaster strikes, it's not only about the safety, it's about the efficiency, because only 1 hour of closure can mean disastrous delays for the ports. According to Compton Fire Department Captain Victor Lemus, the different organizations used the training to work on effective communication and understanding each other's equipment to best improve efficiency.
These are events that can occur in the city on an everyday basis. One is hazmat incident, the other one is rescue, and the third one would be a live fire.
After almost 30 years on the job, Captain Lemus has yet to see a real disaster situation. So while it might be rare for the city of Compton to receive a call, that might not be the case for the other stations that are also adjacent to the trench.
You have to remember that the Alameda Corridor runs from South Los Angeles all the way to downtown LA. So it's multiple miles that is within different parts of LA County.
The fire captain wants the community to know that not only are his officers capable, but they are willing to take on any situation that may arise. In Compton for Valley View News, I'm Quinn Alexander.
Thank you, Quinn. A man is in critical condition after being shot in Chinatown. LAPD says it happened around 1 a.m. Thursday on North Hill Street. Authorities say the victim, who's in his 20s, ran to a nearby Shell gas station after being shot. That's where the clerk called police. The suspect's description is not available, but police say he took off in a green car after the shooting.
A shoe store in San Fernando is recovering after it was hit by a group of smash-and-grab robbers. Surveillance footage shows a sight all too common in Southern California. Several suspects breaking windows and stealing at least 50 shoes from Hypebeast Kicks on Maclay Avenue. The owner's son says it is a devastating blow to his family's business. The shoes, however, are not worth much since the robbers only stole displayed right-footed shoes. No arrests have been announced so far.
Shoes aren't the only things being stolen either. The Crumble Cookie location in Santa Clarita was added to the list of recent robberies that have been surging throughout the city. Santa Clarita's Crumble Cookie was left strapped for cash after a burglar hit the shop early in the morning. Manager James Ramirez was the first one there the next day to find the safe emptied out.
They came in and they were able to unfortunately break our lock box with our key in it, and were able to get access to our safe. And so everything in our safe was taken. Whatever we had locked in our safe, whatever money from the night before from the register was taken.
Though around $1,000 were stolen, Ramirez says the thief may have missed out on their payday.
I was thinking that we actually have a lot of ingredients like our eggs and stuff that are honestly probably worth more than the money that they took, but luckily they didn't take anything else like that.
The robbery is not surprising, to say the least. Crumble Cookie's neighbors Bath and Body Works were hit, and Ulta was just recently robbed by 5 men. Authorities are still trying to figure out if the robberies are connected.
It's kind of a shame because in this shopping center, specifically in the Golden Valley Plaza, a lot of stores are experiencing robberies, including the Bath and Body Works next door to us frequently. So I think it's hard for the businesses that we have to be the ones to take precautionary measures. Like our store currently doesn't take cash anymore because of the thing, but it sucks that like there's no other really enforcement being put in place.
Luckily, no ingredients were stolen, so everyone can still have their cookies. But the threat still looms as multiple stores in the shopping center have been hit and robbed. No solution has been seen yet. I tried contacting the Santa Clarita Police Department, but no response was given back to me. Reporting from Santa Clarita, for Valley View News, I'm Cooper Ignatian. In Santa Clarita, the police department is increasing their security. Now in Culver City, what began as a traffic stop quickly turned into a high-speed pursuit as officers chased a suspect driving a gray Tesla Model 3. The suspect drove through the streets of Sepulveda Boulevard and then onto oncoming lanes of traffic at Howard Hughes Parkway. The Culver City Police Department had to call the chase off when the driver entered the 405 northbound oncoming lanes. It is unknown if the suspect has been apprehended.
A man is in custody on suspicion of driving under the influence after a crash that resulted in the death of 3 women. Video shows the deadly aftermath of the crash. The Pomona Police Department says it happened Saturday afternoon at the intersection of White Avenue and Phillips Boulevard. Investigators say the DUI driver slammed his SUV into a vehicle bringing 5 people home from a baby shower. 2 women in the vehicle died at the scene, while 3 others were taken to the hospital, where another died. Family members have identified the victims as Lorena Morales, who was driving the vehicle, and 33-year-olds Yesenia Ochoa and Alejandra Olez. The 12-year-old daughter of Alejandra remains hospitalized in the ICU. The suspect has been identified as 36-year-old Victor Sejerez of Pomona. He was arrested on felony DUI charges.
A long-range planning effort is now underway around 3 Metro Orange Line stations in the eastern San Fernando Valley. Valley View News' Giselle Lomelli reports that the plan will also include new apartments and help new businesses to open in the area.
Los Angeles City Planning held a meeting with the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council on February 22nd to discuss the future plans for the San Fernando Valley. The Orange G-Line Transit Neighborhood Plan proposes mixed-use districts that inspire many housing options, new small businesses, and most importantly offer more public transit connections to riders in the eastern San Fernando Valley. The plan will focus around the Sepulveda, Van Nuys, and Hollywood Station. Planning assistant Eric Felix and principal city planner David Olivio say the project will consist of duplexes and apartments. The Van Nuys Neighborhood Council is proposing that the plants and vegetation that decorate the surrounding areas are native. Officials say they are still discussing which plants and trees will be used and how many.
We want like more of a commercial district feel, so you wouldn't have like a lush landscaped front yard.
Yeah.
It might be a little different.
Did you make up some trees or something?
Yeah.
Intentions may be good with some of these plans, but I don't think overall they're realistic in covering people that are low income, that are homeless, that are disabled like myself.
Olivio says that not every issue can be solved, but agrees that other steps need to be taken. And the main focus right now is the G-Line Transit Plan. Reporting in Woodland Hills for Valley View News, I'm Giselle Amelli.
Thank you, Giselle. The Van Nuys area is looking to see brighter days as the city is launching a solar streetlight pilot project. The Los Angeles Solar Lighting Pilot Program will include 104 solar lights to combat damages from copper wire criminals. Mayor Karen Bass and LA City Council member Imelda Padilla say they selected Van Nuys for the pilot program because of its high concentration of darkened streetlights thanks to copper thieves and vandals. Officials say despite the lights costing over $4,000, the city will see lower energy bills.
The Riverside Unified School District has launched an investigation after an online threat was made to Riverside Polytechnic High School last week. The district superintendent sent out a letter informing families that some fights took place around lunchtime at the school, and the threats were posted on social media shortly after. School officials plan to restrict lunch to certain parts of campus to prevent something like this from happening again. The Riverside Police Department is working with school officials to get all to the bottom of it all. There will be extra officers on campus this week.
If you live in downtown Los Angeles, you are probably aware of Skid Row, a historic neighborhood with one of the largest homeless populations in America. What you may not know is that there's a museum where you can learn about its history. Valley View News had the opportunity to go inside. Located on Broadway Street in downtown Los Angeles, the Skid Row History Museum and Archive is the child of the Los Angeles Poverty Department, a traveling theater performance group established in 1985. John Malpede, the group's leader, created the place to help represent the homeless community of Skid Row.
It's a way of instantiating that there is a community, and that is a bulwark against it being disappeared and replaced.
The main room holds exhibits like the one about COVID medical services being constructed right now. If you climb a set of stairs in the back, you enter the archive, which holds hundreds of physical Skid Row related documents and photos dating back to the 1980s, with some pieces going back to the 1930s. But that's not all that they have here.
We have video, audio tapes, a lot of digital files, digital audio, digital video, and we're currently also digitizing our content.
Azad Namazi is a UCLA student intern tasked with digitizing archival material and transcribing interviews with Skid Row residents.
Oral history is a very intimate setting, and so you get to not only hear about the facts and the history, but then also how those histories are being communicated and the emotive and the emotional aspects of those histories.
Anyone is welcome to the archive to research the history of Skid Row with the materials such as this. The museum also hosts movie nights, coffee breakfasts, and acting workshops. Reporting from Los Angeles, I'm Matthew Bragulla for Valley View News. The museum is free and open 3 days a week. In other news, California is being hit by another surge of powerful storms. Los Angeles and Ventura counties got hit with rain and wind over the weekend, prompting the National Weather Service to issue a high surf advisory for communities along the coast. LA beaches saw waves as big as 7 feet, while Ventura County beaches experienced 10 feet swells, as well as some flooding. In Northern California, communities by the Sierra Nevada mountain range are still being hit by a blizzard, leaving many without power. The CHP closed over 100 miles of the Interstate 80 indefinitely, where many drivers are still trapped inside their vehicles. The area is projected to get at least 12 feet of snow with winds exceeding 190 miles per hour.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump spoke at a campaign rally in North Carolina over the weekend.
In beautiful North Carolina, with thousands of proud, hard-working American patriots. That's what you are, American patriots.
In his speech, he accused President Joe Biden of engaging in a conspiracy to overthrow the United States by allowing millions of migrants to cross the border from Mexico.
You know, he talks about democracy. He is a danger to democracy.
The Biden campaign has since spoken out, saying Trump is projecting in an attempt to distract the American people from a border security bill he helped torpedo last month. The Supreme Court ruled on Monday that states can no longer kick Trump off the ballot over his actions relating to the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
More to come on Valley View News. Russian President Vladimir Putin warns the West of nuclear conflict if they send troops to Ukraine. And reprints of the classic DC Marvel crossovers are expected to hit online. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's travel the news overseas. Jasmine Cuza is in our digital media center with the latest international updates. Jasmine?
Matt, thank you. Israel has accepted a 6-week ceasefire proposal in Gaza following a second phase to create a solution. The ceasefire will allow more vulnerable hostages to be released in Gaza, as well as aid into the enclave. Talks to reach a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas are underway, as Hamas still hasn't accepted the proposal. The US, Qatar, Egypt, and Israel are expected to take part in the meeting. Vice President Kamala Harris is meeting with Israeli officials to discuss the matter.
Hamas claims it wants a ceasefire. Well, there is a deal on the table. And as we have said, Hamas needs to agree to that deal. Let's get a ceasefire. Let's reunite the hostages with their families.
The US and Jordan have dropped humanitarian aid into Gaza, though more is necessary. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned the West against sending troops to Ukraine, suggesting it would lead to nuclear conflict. In an idea floated by French President Emmanuel Macron, he suggested sending Western troops to Ukraine, but was rejected by several European leaders. The US State Department stated Putin's comment as irresponsible rhetoric, and there was no signs of Russia preparing to use nuclear weapons. Putin also addressed military advancements, economic progress, social policies, and elections where he's expected to win a 5th term. He also praised those involved in Russia's military operation in Ukraine, referring to them as the country's real elite. Police in Spain have arrested 9 people suspected of bringing fake bills into the country. The suspects brought $40,000, equivalent to 30,000 euros, into the country. Police say it was one of the most active counterfeit organizations operating in the last couple years. The money was circulated in Spain and some African countries. Immigration is proving to be a top concern among many Americans in this year's election. In a recent poll by Gallup, 28% of Americans list immigration as the most important problem. 54% of independents think illegal immigration is a critical threat. Recently, a bipartisan negotiation took place in response to the record-breaking number of crossings. Just in December, crossings at the southern border peaked at over 300,000. The bipartisan Senate bill would add more than 1,500 new customs and border protection personnel and includes a $20 billion agreement on border security. It would be the first time since 2019 that Americans consider immigration the country's biggest issue. That's the very latest from the Digital Media Center. I'm Jasmine Cuza. Back to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. JetBlue Airlines is pulling out of their deal to buy Spirit Airlines. The new settlement comes after the federal court blocked the deal, arguing that prices could go up if Spirit was taken away as an independent airline. Spirit Airlines is known to offer very low airfares, but where passengers need to pay for add-ons including carry-ons. JetBlue is paying Spirit $69 million to end their original deal.
Travel agency Expedia is laying off roughly 1,500 jobs, which is about 9%. The cuts are apparently due to travel demand slowing down following the post-pandemic boom. It comes after the agency's CEO announced his departure from the company. No specific details have been released about the time of the layoffs.
Apple plans to build an electric car have been canceled. Project Titan, as it was slated, had been in development for the last decade. It comes after several major car makers of electrical vehicles cut prices and lost many investments. Back in 2014, Apple hired automotive executives, and 3 years later they got a permit from the California Department of Motor Vehicles to test self-driving cars. Back in 2020, Tesla CEO Elon Musk tried to sell the electrical vehicle company to Apple CEO Tim Cook, but he refused to take the meeting with him.
A cyber attack has disrupted health insurance IT company Change Healthcare, causing providers across multiple states to lose millions of dollars. The company announced plans for a temporary loan program to help those providers, while senior U.S. officials search for a way to help the IT giant. The president of American Hospital Association called the attack the most serious of its kind leveled against a U.S. healthcare organization. Change Healthcare blamed the attack on a ransomware gang known as ALPHV, or Black Cat, which the Justice Department says has attacked people around the world. The company will launch a new version of its online prescribing service following the attack, but it could take weeks for it to return to normal operations.
Walgreens and CVS announced that select locations will dispense mifepristone, a regimen for medication abortion. Walgreens say New York, California, Illinois, and Massachusetts will have prescriptions available within a few days and plans to expand in other states. CNN reports that CVS will fill prescriptions in Massachusetts within the weeks ahead. The Supreme Court is expected by July to make a decision on whether to restrict access.
A new study is revealing Californians who live close to wildfires may have big changes in their mental health. The study included more than 7 million people. It focused on the increase in orders for medication to manage mental health after 25 large fires between 2011 and 2018. Researchers found a significant increase in orders for antidepressants, mood-stabilizing medicines, and medicines to reduce anxiety after the wildfires. A large part of the increase was for women and older adults. Other studies have shown these mental health issues can become chronic.
When we come back, Dune Part 2 hits the box office with the biggest opening of the year. Also, LeBron James becomes the first player to hit 40,000 points. What he says about the historic moment. We'll be right back after this quick break.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
Director James Gunn is sharing a new behind-the-scenes photo of Clark Kent's new suit. Gunn shared this on his Instagram, saying it was coincidentally the comic book hero's birthday. Many fans had been speculating that this new iteration of this beloved character would be Superman Legacy. But Gunn announced that after writing the script, his film would only be titled Superman. Filming is taking place now, and the film is expected to be released on July 11th, 2025.
Superman may have a new suit, but nothing can beat the classics. DC has announced a new project with Marvel that is going to be reprinting the crossover classics. Comic fans can once again read crazy what-if scenarios such as Superman vs. Spider-Man or Batman vs. Daredevil. Also returning to print is the crossover known as Amalgam Age, which featured fusions of heroes like Darkclaw, who was made from Batman and Wolverine. No new comics are being made, just strictly reprints, and Amazon has started a pre-sale for the collection at $130.
You might have a chance to own a piece of TV history. The diner booth from the final scene of The Sopranos is up for auction. The booth from Holston's Diner was listed on eBay last week and already has a top bid of over $82,000. Diner co-owner Chris Carley says it was one of his favorite shows.
I'm definitely going to be sad. It's been 17 years since it ran, and it was one of my favorite shows. So for me to have the final scene shot here was very just satisfying.
The booth includes both seats, tables, and divider wall with the plaque reserved for the Sopranos family.
Dune Part 2 has made a comeback after a terrible winter for the box office. The film cast has A-list actors, Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. Dune 2 is the biggest opening of the year so far and has made over $80 million in North America on its opening weekend. It doubled in the box office compared to the first film, and it is sure to say Warner Bros. And Legendary kept their promise on re-energizing the box office this year.
Iron Maiden lead Bruce Dickinson has returned after almost 20 years with a new solo album. The Mandrake Project is his newest album with 10 tracks on it, and his first solo work since being diagnosed with larynx cancer. The album is supposed to be about two scientists that try to bring the dead back to life. Dickinson will hit the road in April, starting in Brazil, on a 4-month tour to show off his new music.
The Rock now owns The Rock and many other catchphrases. In January, Dwayne Johnson joined the board of sports and entertainment company TKO Group. Aside from joining the board, he also took the right to his nickname, The Rock. But he owns the intellectual property to his nicknames like the People's Champion and the Great One. Plus famous catchphrases, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock has returned to WWE this year.
Now, I didn't even know that last one was a catchphrase of his, but I'm glad that he owns it.
Hands down one of my favorite catchphrases. I'm very excited for him to be returning to the ring.
I have to catch that too. A new bar in Minneapolis is turning heads. Their own is a bar dedicated to women's sports at all times. The opening day included a first pitch and a band of bagpipes to celebrate. Owner Jillian Hiscock says the business idea came to her after she visited a sports bar that was lacking support for women's sports. She then decided she wanted to make space for women's sports and fans.
Philadelphia Eagles legend Jason Kelce officially made his long-awaited decision on his future. The center held an emotional press conference announcing his retirement. Kelce made 6 postseason appearances and played in 2 Super Bowls, only winning 1. Eagles chairman and CEO Jeffrey Lurie took to X, posting a sentimental goodbye and a reflection on his career. The 6-time first-team All-Pro played 13 years with the Eagles.
Moving to the NFL, a new record has been set in the draft combine. Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy ran a record-breaking 4.21-second 40-yard dash, barely edging out the previous record by 1 millisecond. Worthy, unable to contain his excitement, is seen in the video sprinting and screaming around the field. The soon-to-be NFL rookie says he never thought he would be able to break the previous record, which was held by 28-year-old John Ross.
LeBron James eclipsed 40,000 points Saturday night, extending his lead as the NBA's all-time scoring leader. He did it at the start of the second quarter when he drove past Michael Porter Jr. for a layup.
It's good. It's 40,000 for LeBron James.
LeBron reached a historic landmark in 1,475 games across 21 seasons, for a career average of about 27 points per game. Last season, LeBron passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the all-time scoring list, and now leads him by over 1,600 points. LeBron is also the only player with at least 10,000 points, rebounds, and assists in his career. He is also the leading scorer in playoff points. The Lakers ended up losing the game to the Denver Nuggets 124-114.
Exercise is key, and that goes for our four-legged friends as well. Jog That Dog is a mobile dog gym based in Kansas City. It travels around to shelters to give dogs some well-needed exercise. The van-turned-gym offers 2 treadmills in the back for dogs to use, get out of the kennels, and burn some fuel. The dogs usually run about 20 to 30 minutes or until the zoomies wear off. Well, I don't have a dog, but if they allow cats, I would definitely bring my cat to that.
Well, I know my cat's way too lazy, but if they had one for humans, sign me up. I definitely need one.
I'm there with you. That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Matthew Bragulla.
And I'm Cooper Ignatian. For stories any time of the day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.